Ronaldin Floro is a fourth-year student taking up a bachelor's degree course in peace education at the Pamulaan Center for Indigenous Peoples Education. If she were not here studying, her options in life would be severely limited. Her view of herself and her people would also be completely different from what she holds now.
Unang-una, nag-aaral ako dito sa Pamulaan kasi ito po yung institusyon po na binibigyang halaga po yung buhay ng mga katutubo.
Pamulaan was founded by the Ilawan Volunteer and Leadership Center, an organization that supports indigenous peoples' initiatives in building self-reliant and life-giving communities. Their programs promote the indigenous people's rights to cultural integrity, to land and its resources, to human development, to self-governance, to justice and peace.
Ilawan is actually a voluntary organization. None of us are paid in doing what we do for the indigenous peoples. Our main objective when we formed Ilawan is to just accompany the indigenous peoples in their development, in realizing their dreams through education.
Ilawan is led by Benjamin Abadiano, a former Jesuit novitiate who found his calling in serving the marginalized indigenous people. His first interaction with them was in the 1980s in Bukidnon, when, as an anthropology student, he conducted ethnographic research on the Monobo group in the area.
That was also my first time to meet the Jesuit priests, particularly Father Fulam, Father Krebs, who were doing missionary work in Kadingilan, Bukidnon. And I was very much inspired by what the Jesuits were doing with the Monobo tribe. And that opened up my mind of the many realities that the indigenous peoples were facing. From then on, after that experience, it never changed because I made a commitment that I'll devote my whole life in working with the indigenous peoples.
He worked as a volunteer in Oriental Mindoro, where together with the missionaries of the Servants of the Holy Spirit, he started an alternative school for the Mangyan, which they called Tugdaan Learning Center. The center provided and continues to provide formal education as well as training in agriculture, carpentry, and other practical skills, as well as community organizing and documentation. Tugdaan is now being managed by its former students. When Benjamin founded Ilawan with his friends in 2001, it was to continue and enhance what he had been doing, helping the indigenous people empower themselves. Ilawan's first school was the Pamulaan Lumad Learning Center, set up in 2001, which provides education for early childhood, high school education, and skills training for youth and adults. In 2004, the Pamulaan Center for Indigenous Peoples Education was established to offer college education with degree programs, associate programs, and short-term courses. It has roughly 100 students now from various indigenous groups taking up Bachelor of Agricultural Technology, Bachelor of Elementary Education, AB Anthropology, and AB Peace Education.
What is unique with Pamulaan is the curriculum and the system of education were designed by the indigenous peoples themselves. We had a series of workshops with the elders, together with the professors and some stakeholders who have been working with the indigenous peoples for many years. Many of our graduates in Pamulaan are now working either in their community, doing development work for their community, or they're involved in working with different civil society organizations and government on programs that are related to IP development.
Ilawan is also working tirelessly to preserve the cultural integrity of the indigenous people through the collection and documentation of words, songs, stories, dances, and rituals of the Matigsalug, Bagobo, and other ethno-linguistic groups. There is also the Living Heritage Center, which is a hub for sharing indigenous knowledge, values, traditions, skills, and other aspects of their culture.
Lumaki ako na nakikita ko na lang, naririnig ko yung mga discrimination ng ibang tao sa aming mga katutubo. Tapos walang sino man ang makapagpaliwanag sa akin noon. Pero nung nandito na ako sa Pamulaan, dito ko naintindihan kung bakit ganun. Kasi nga yung sa way of educating dito, pinapaintindi sa amin kung our history of marginalization, bakit ganito kami ngayon, anong nangyari before. Dito po sa pamulaan, dito ko po talaga na natanggap ng buong buo yung buong pagkatao ko at bilang tribo din. At naging proud din ako bilang isang katutubo.